And introduce your. Welcome to Power CEOs, the truth behind the business. Today, you're in for a treat. I have here with me Joe Foster, founder of Reebok, author of Shoemaker, the untold story of the British family firm that became a global brand, entrepreneur, true business athlete. Welcome to the show, Joe.
Oh, thank you for the introduction, Jen. That was incredible. And it's nice to meet you. It is indeed. So let's carry on. Yes. Where do you want to go with this?
Absolutely. So on the show, we often describe entrepreneurs as business athletes, and you are that epitome of the business athlete. What would you say are the key qualities required in an entrepreneur to take a small business or a family-run operation to global scale?
Well, I think that most importantly is to know your business. For me, it's to know the business, exactly where you are. And then, of course, it's to understand that you need a name which could be easy to remember. You need a logo. And if with a product like us, you need a silhouette. So these are the things. You need something recognizable. So that's important. And then the business skills, yes, well, it depends if you've got business skills or if you've got designer skills, marketing skills. And for me, I sort of started life here as a designer, so that was good, and marketing. And then we brought in the right, I could say, business people, legal and financial. You know, we had to outsource that. We had to bring people in because really we were shoemakers. But so really to start a business, you need to also enjoy what you're doing. You need to know that what you're going into is going to be enjoyable, is fun, because people ask me the three most important things, and for me it's fun, fun, fun. Those are three important things, because you can actually find somebody who's good at the other skills. But if you're not enjoying it and you're not willing to lead it, then you're going to have a hard time.
I completely understand. And I thought that was absolutely fantastic. What I gleaned from that more than anything is play to your strengths. Play to your strengths, know your strengths, and hire the right team to play their roles and focus on what is fun for you. Because I'm gonna take it to the next role. Entrepreneurship is not all fun and games. There are real adversities that occur, and it's a long game. It really is a journey. So during that journey, when we're facing adversity, what were the habits for success that kept you energized, especially in the tough times when you were ready to throw in the towel? How did you personally flip the switch to find the energy to keep pushing forward?
Well, I think you start when young. We started when young, and we were not very skilled at anything apart from making a product and understanding our market. We understood that. And so really, it is a question of making the most of what you can do. And that's very important to be able to say, right, we're going to move forward now. What do we do? Well, we didn't have a lot of money. In our early days, we were quite short of money. And then if you're going back to the 1960s, money was not available like it is. We didn't have angels. We didn't have the people you can go to now to obtain money. We only had banks. And the bank, of course, were very cautious in what they would lend you, small amounts. If you wanted anything of any size, you had to have collateral. Well, of course, if you've got collateral, you've got money, but you don't have that. So we had to work our way into the market that we knew. We moved into running. We would have loved in the UK. We would have loved to have gone into soccer. Soccer was the biggest sporting. The biggest one of all the sports that we had was soccer, and this is where the volumes would be in soccer. But unfortunately, by the time Jeff and myself set up in business, Adidas had come into the UK, and they actually owned the soccer market. So we had to look for white space. We had to look for spaces that we could go into, and finding that white space. Okay, that wasn't too difficult because we knew where we were going. Again, it's knowing where you're going and knowing how to get there. So we concentrated on track and field and athletics, and we figured out ways to become really the number one as far as athletics were concerned. And we're not talking about supplying the top athletes. We're talking about supplying the athletes, the people who go out there every day, the people who go out there to run, to do their best, that love what they're doing. They might not be the best, but they were our customers.
I remember I had to have the Reebok aerobic shoe. That was it, and I know you spoke about this on stage at a conference that we were both at about a week and a half ago. And so what really hit me there with the white space conversation and the how you entered into the market mixed with reading your book. I mean, you shared that breaking into America, was surprisingly easy at one point in time. It was just a phone call and you were like, what? In your book. So I'm hearing white space. I'm hearing how you did it. And I'm thinking about my viewers and my listeners, the entrepreneurs and investors who are struggling to make that first or next deal to kind of get to the next level of scale. What would you encourage them to do differently, or how to think so that they can improve the ability to do that creative thinking and turn that adversity into opportunity, just as you did?
Well, I guess it depends on your outlook as to whether you want to be an entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur, and that is you start something, you scale it, then you exit and repeat, which our friend Colin Campbell has just wrote a big book on, if that's it. Or, when I talk to him, I say, well, possibly I'm not a serial entrepreneur, I'm a brand builder. Now, so it depends where you want to be. And we go back to the mid 20th century when Jeff and myself in the 50s, 60s, 70s, we started our business. Entrepreneurs, yes, it's a word that people heard of. Influencers, a word people heard of, but we're not using. Yeah, it's only when you look back upon how businesses manage to scale. We always thought of growing our business. Now you've got to scale your business. So how that happened? And so really, and we do talk to MBA and EMBA students, and the first question they ask is, what was your exit plan? And we realize how businesses changed so much, because now this is how the MBA students, they think this is what they're going to business for, to create something, to grow it, to scale it, and sell. So that the money is an important element. We were not in it for the money. In a way, we were in for money, and that was we needed to earn money. We needed a living. So that covered, being in the business covered the idea that we needed a living, and it was a challenge. The challenge was, how do you grow? How do you, as we say, scale that business? And yes, problems. So how do people scale their business? How do people get on to the next step? As I say, depends. If they want to be a serial entrepreneur, then they've got to see how best they can get finance and on what they're doing, get that finance, and then look at the method they're going to use to market that business, and work on that to the point where, yes, they're almost on offer. They can now sell the business and exit. For anybody who's like me, and that is the ambition of saying, well, we want to build a brand. So building our brand, we need visibility, and we need to keep that visibility in as many ways as we could. Problems, well, this is where you either like the problems, you either like the challenge, because we were in it for the long haul. We were in it to grow our business, to expand our business, to become a big brand. And to do that, we had to change our name. We started off as Mercury, but we changed to Reebok. That was a challenge because we couldn't register the name. And in my book, if you read it, you can go through the details of that. So we had to change the name. And Adidas didn't like our logo. They thought it infringed their three stripes. So we had to change our logo. But we started to recognize the fact, well, these are problems, but how do we turn this problem into an advantage? And so we were looking to see the advantages that came from challenges. And so that to me is one of the ways of scaling your business, because you go around the problems, you don't get worried about problems. You see them as it's either a lesson, And failures, we had failures. I had at least 6 failures on my way to try to get into the American market. So all those, you learn something from that. You learn that what we were trying to do is to advertise, push our way in, show people our product. But then Runner's World, we earned a 5-star rating in Runner's World for our shoes. So we became accredited. All of a sudden, people wanted our product. And that was one big difference. And then, of course, we're still looking for white space. And in America, what happened was aerobics. We were not, we were in a position where we could actually change that direction that we were going in. You know, we could do that. We could turn from running, we could pivot into aerobics. We were not too hard and fast on saying, no, our way forward is running. This is us. This is what our career. No, we were sports footwear manufacturers. We looked for sport. We could produce the right product. So we knew how to change the product, how to be able to pivot to aerobics. And coming into the market as a running company, we now became a women's company. Because once we moved into aerobics, and Nike, Adidas, everybody else stepped back. They didn't trust the aerobics market to be anything more than a fad, something that would be over in a short time. We just grew on that. We actually scaled on that from 9 million to 900 million in 4 years. So this is how we, and now if I'm talking to other people, you know, what is it that, do you know your market? Do you know how to market your product? Do you know where to go to do that, to get to your market? And we had a long and enjoyable journey learning how to scale our product, our business, and also how to pivot and enjoy that.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. I really take away the persistence, knowing your market, but also the willingness to be flexible and adaptable. And as entrepreneurs, as business athletes, we do that so well. And that's how we're able to open up that white space. Thank you so much. And, you know, I love to give an actionable item to the people who are listening that they could take action on right now that can move them forward no matter where they are. My advice would be pick up Joe's book, Shoemaker, give it a read and implement the golden nuggets. What would your advice be to the entrepreneurs who are sitting there who are like, I want to get to that next level, I'm a little bit fearful? What is the one action step that they can begin today that will drive them forward?
Well, I think first of all, they've got to examine their marketing strategy and see if they can find a space which, you know, if they're trying to get to somewhere in particular, they're trying to scale, are they putting themselves in a place where there's too much competition? Can we change that? Can we find something which is different? So I think if you really need to move forward, you really need to look at your strategy, look at that market, try and find something just that little bit different, engage more people to talk with, to look at, well, what is it? Where can we go that's different? And if you can do that in a different way, because there are so many people in that same groove that you're going to find it difficult if you don't have ideas. So you've got to get in there and you've got to think about how do we pivot? And there's white space everywhere. And I'm sure that people within their business, you know, look for that something different, and that will keep you excited. It will keep you moving. So for me, it's white space and energy. You need
fantastic. Find the white space, folks. Joe, you heard it from Joe Foster. Thank you so much, Joe. I really respect your time. I know that you are an incredibly successful and busy individual, and I appreciate you being willing to share some of your golden nuggets with my audiences.
It's a pleasure, Jen. It really is. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.